Hello and welcome back to Podcasting's Praxis. I'm David, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm James, my pronouns are they and them, and the pronouns of a cat that's loudly purring next to my microphone are she and her. Hi, Lucy.
Hi, Lucy.
My pronouns are he and him.
And I'm Alistair, my pronouns are he and him, and I don't have anything exciting to add.
No, you don't need to, we've got cat now, so it's fine.
Okay,
Podcast is cat now.
Stepping in for Rob and introducing themselves better than Rob usually does.
To be fair, I did have to introduce her.
I mean, she's a cat, you're supposed to do basically fucking everything for her, so...
Well, yeah, okay. Apart from throw up on the floor, she handles that perfectly well.
We've all got to have a skill. Okay, let's just fucking dive right into it because I've got quite a few little bits to talk about before we get to the joys of the article. Oh boy.
The article, not an article. This is the article, the eponymous one.
It's a definite article, sure.
Yeah, it definitely is an article, yes.
Okay. Downgraded, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so first up, I thought we'd do a little... You know how I always end up doing these? I immediately shoot to fucking either tech dipshits or label dipshits. Good news, you get both. So we'll start on tech, shall we? Would you believe it? 40 years after the hard work to create the next level of Torment Nexus, Geoffrey Hinton, the godfather of AI, has been given a Nobel Prize.
What field?
Physics.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
What specifically? What was it for?
It was for hang on, I'm gonna need to fucking dig the article up now. It was for
gas or something.
Reapplying the equations of Ludwig Boltzmann, a 19th century physicist. So basically, he was trying to figure out a way of understanding systems that involve lots of individual elements, such as molecules of gas. And this dickhead went, oh, you could do this with data, and then had to wait like 25 years for technology to get to a point of like, okay, now we can do some really pointless shit. Mm-hmm.
But that's not the whole story, though, is it?
Oh, no. He had things to say, which is always worse.
Yeah.
Now for the most unhinged shit you've ever heard. Incidentally, did this come with a fucking Israeli and Ukrainian flag in like the byline or whatever?
I will say Nobel laureate lectures are some of the most unhinged shit you'll ever hear if you take the time to go back and look at them. But what did he say?
I don't even know if he gave a genuine lecture on this. It seems like he just phoned in a couple of quotes.
Oh, fuck me.
I don't think he even went to fucking Sweden. So, alright, okay. Speaking to the Nobel Committee, he said, humanity was only just beginning to understand AI's power. I think it will have a huge influence. It will be comparable with the Industrial Revolution, but instead of exceeding people in physical strength, which obviously we only had the Industrial Revolution, the cantilever, uninvented until the 1800s. It will exceed people in intellectual ability. We have no experience.
The intellectual ability to emit extraordinary amounts of CO2 while simultaneously consuming enormous amounts of water.
Yeah, what I will say is you can tell this cunt's Nobel Prize was for physics and not computing.
We have no experience of what it is like to have things smarter than us, says
sure
this guy. It's going to make them more efficient. It's going to be wonderful in many respects. In almost all industries, it's going to make them more efficient. People are going to be able to do the same amount of work with an AI assistant in much less time. It'll mean huge improvements in productivity. How? What? To produce what?
Genuinely show me, like,
CO2.
show me a
Breathless
Show me
articles about how like fucking, you know what I mean? Mankind's intelligence has reached the boundaries of the possible, but worry not. For now, we have like, you know what I mean, a brain like a human brain. But what if we snapped like a little Lego hat on top of it to make it 10% fancier?
Like, show me a single efficiency improvement in anyone's workflow that isn't stealing content of, like, say, an artist to create texture or similar by someone who just doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. Like, show me an actual serious, honest to God, proper software engineer or programmer who's actually really for real using this shit to help them program. Show me an actual artist.
I bet there's fucking loads of them, but like, you know what I mean? It's like whether or not you want your fucking website to fall over in some like weird, inscrutable way that nobody predicted.
Yeah,
Well, it's like,
I'm learning.
Yeah,
I've been actually looking this up on Stack Exchange and stuff, and all the programmers there are basically saying this fucking sucks. Like,
But of
you
course
can
it
use
fucking
it.
sucks.
It generates codes. It generates codes instantly. But the code doesn't compile, and you have to then spend 40 minutes debugging the code. And sometimes the code you're debugging just doesn't do the thing that you're trying to do in the first place. None of them actually rate it whatsoever.
Or,
you know,
right, it generates code that compiles, but like, you know what I mean, has like a fucking error in it somewhere, and you know what I mean, it just like crashes the fucking economy later or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it's good, actually.
Yeah,
It's what this podcast opinion, official opinion. AI is good,
Yeah.
so long as
The
it
no, it's
doesn't-
gonna be-
AI
it's gonna
stands
be
for
like,
accelerationism.
it's gonna be one of those things where, like, you know what I mean, we get like some kind of huge fucking security issue where, like, I don't know, pick the most like fucking secure database or the database that most needs to be secure on the planet, and then we find out that, like, you know what I mean, it turns out everyone's like social security number and bank details are all available in the cloud now because the guy who was in charge of like securing that database just used an AI to write the code.
Oh, so every database is protected by the same thing that protects Sony.
Yeah.
I love to apply for my universal credit using my PlayStation login.
I think to log into the DWP, you must have a PSN account.
Getting a fucking
If ever there was a time we needed the Helldivers, it's now.
getting a note in your Universal Credit Journal to say, like, what if Spider-Man danced?
It says here you failed the major order, sanctioned.
Oh, I'm just picturing you go along to your job centre interview, and afterwards you get a DM on PlayStation Network, and it's the person you were seeing at the job centre fucking calling you a noob and telling you that you absolutely sucked. Like,
Yeah.
you know.
1v1
change, you know?
or no ESA. Yeah. Okay, so obviously AI is going to be great and efficient, and this guy fucking loves it. But he added, we also have to worry about a number of possible bad consequences, particularly the threat of these things getting out of control.
Oh my Christ. Do you not think it's already out of control? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
we're fucking
What-
burning the entire fucking planet and draining the
No,
oceans
he
to generate
means it in the-
waifus, like, you know what I mean? Waifus with weird fingers at a fucking, like, hitherto unprecedented rate. Is that
No,
not already
yeah.
at hand?
What if a
means in
tumour
the
had
fucking James
tits?
Cameron way.
Yeah, I know he means the James Cameron way, but, like, he's wrong. You know what I mean? You should have learned something about computers. Or
Look,
even
James
people.
Cameron didn't even fucking learn. He's on the board of an AI company now.
Yeah, well, you know what I mean? He's got, like, fucking films to ruin with these 4K upscales.
Oh,
James
Christ,
Cameron
yeah.
was told to get in the sea, and to his credit.
Have you seen that, though? Apparently, like, the only way you can get, like, a 4K version of, like, Aliens or it's that fucking thing he did about the spies. True Lies. The only 4K versions of those available were, like, AI upscaled and looked like complete shit.
They look like garbage. The
Oh.
lighting's completely different. Is one of the other things I
they
noticed
look like
about it.
they look like absolute pan-fried wank. And, like, when anyone says, like, what the fuck you done here, he gets really pissy about it, apparently, like, because, you know, AI is the future.
Why do you even need to upscale? It already looks good. Like, it's fine as it is. It doesn't...
Oh,
'Cause
come on,
it's
man!
cheap.
The guy spent like $100 billion, trillion, like fucking US dollars American making a fucking film about blue people who like live in a tree or something. Obviously, if you pitch him an idea where it's like, look at this, we've got some new technology here, Jimmy, he's gonna fucking jump on it, isn't he?
It's also like it just saves money, because to do a proper 4K upscale, you've got to like basically run the film through the right apparatus.
I bet he paid more for the AI.
I don't think so. I think it would have been a very simple case of, well, we could go through all the trouble of like, you know, respooling and redoing all of the film that was shot, or we can AI upscale it. And I think he'll have gone for that. Both because it's new technology and because it saves money.
Absolutely fucking guarantee you it cost them more. He just did it because it was futuristic. He's that kind of
Have you considered that it's probably entirely doable for someone to just do it for fuck all? Someone will just do that shit for free.
I mean, that's a possibility as well, like, but he absolutely 100% fucking did that because it's cool and futuristic to use technology for things. That's why he keeps making like fucking 3D films and driving a fucking orb to the bottom of the ocean and stuff. You know what I mean? He just...
Hey, look. To be fair, at least he did that successfully.
Yeah, but no, he's a gizmo guy.
Yeah. Oh well. When asked if he had any regrets, Hinton said, "In the same circumstance, I would do the same again."
Okay.
But I do worry that the overall consequence of this might be systems more intelligent than us that eventually take control.
I fucking cannot believe, like, I know, like, these are like Nobel Awards are basically just an evil man's way of trying to assuage his guilt, like, posthumously. But like, it is insane.
I just remembered that fucking political cartoon about like hundreds of millions dead thanks to Alfred Nobel's invention of dynamite. when Obama got the Peace Prize, that was like how some fucking Republican cartoonist decided to disparage it, was that Alfred Nobel had killed hundreds of millions, and I'm like, I think you might want to run those numbers again, Chief. Sorry, go on.
Well, like, just presumably the whole point of this endeavor is to have smart people rewarded for doing smart things, and this man Obama Peace Prize, etc. And this guy is terrified, excited even at the prospect of a speak and spell that can
that can dominate him.
That can.
Well, there's one specific Israeli sector that can be replaced by AI.
Lad's dreaming of a Furby in fishnets and a leather corset.
I'm pretty sure there's a TikTok account that is basically that.
But yeah, it just honestly just fucks me off. It's like there are already real like existential threats from the rise of AI. You don't need to fucking, like, you know what I mean, stay up all night watching Terminator and like mainlining fucking Doritos and getting a bit too like het up on the possibility of like a fucking robot killing you. You could just point at what's happening now and go, yeah, this is bad and we should stop doing it. But it's always with these fucking like supposed geniuses. It's always, well, you see, the problem here is my ZX Spectrum might like fucking decide it resents me. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Why is that a problem? And the fact that I fucking resent you not?
Because you don't serve them.
Really? Explain the economy?
No. Okay, next up. Remember the Metaglex?
Oh, fuck me.
Oh, no. Oh, piss off.
How could we forget?
Well, good news. In a move that literally everyone who's seen it would have expected, they've confirmed that they now will, I'll say now will, always would have, and definitely will, harvest all the pictures and videos taken with them, and also all of the voice commands, unless you opt out, however difficult that may be. So that's good. That's good. We like when people walk about with private security apparatus attached to their fucking face.
Why isn't the previous guy concerned about this shit?
Because this will only make the data set stronger somehow. And bear in mind, that's the data set of Meta's AI tools, which are trained on Facebook posts.
Oh my god. We've invented the racism singularity.
See, do you know what I mean? If they trained Skynet on Facebook posts, you would absolutely just like allow it to fucking fire the nukes at everyone.
It would be entirely justified.
Yeah, a nuclear exchange has begun between the bin men and the former USSR.
Like, I don't even... There's no argument for it anyway in the first place, but there's even less of an argument when you think, oh, it's doing it off Facebook data, because all of that is just AI slop at this point. It's well past the fucking Xerox problem being, like, something to worry about. It's confirmed. Like, it's already well past that. So, yeah. But I mean, just like that update.
A Skynet that learned to hate humans from fucking Facebook would be entirely right. You know what I mean?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. It becomes self-aware and tired of your dad at like 2:13 a.m. Eastern time.
and with good cause.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the most, like, fully understandable bit about the MCU when Ultron connects to the internet and sees what humanity is based off the internet, that he goes, well, fuck these cunts. Yeah, totally right. Okay, next up we have we need to talk about some of the effects of Hurricane Millhouse, as Jamie put it to me earlier.
Oh.
Yes, I have taught the autocorrect on my phone the word Millhouse. It truly is the rise of the machines. If only some brave Nobel laureate had warned us of this impending like doom.
Yeah. So obviously, you know, this fucking like that shit's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Is it still a Cat 5?
I think Cat 6 potentially.
Yeah, I think someone said. I saw someone saying Cat 6. So
really, because I thought today it decreased in intensity, but increased in size was what I saw last time. Though to be fucking honest, like this thing's changing so rapidly, who the fuck knows?
I don't know. Last I saw was like people saying about how it's approaching like what should be the like
mathematical limit,
mathematical limit of what is possible over that particular patch of ocean.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, it
can't get any bigger.
They'd never seen a hurricane that size with an eye so small. Apparently,
yeah.
Which, I assume, which I infer from context to be a good thing.
22 hours ago, it had hit peak winds sustained. Excuse me, not peak. Maximum sustained winds of 180 miles per hour. So
that's pretty fast.
That's fine.
Yeah. Good kite weather.
Like, you will be the kite.
Charlie Brown finally going to fuck up that tree.
The windy man.
I saw someone post a video of the last major hurricane that rolled through Florida and had like a storm surge, which was less than Milton's anticipated to get, and it was just like a time lapse of a street getting absolutely fucking destroyed. Like the ocean decided to walk in, basically.
Isn't it something like 40 feet?
I mean, 14. I don't think it was quite.
Oh, was it 14?
Yeah, they're talking about 14 or 15, like, which is fucking insane.
Yeah, that's still like what?
The day after
meters?
Tomorrow.
Yeah. The one of the video I watched was only something like 8 feet, and it was apocalyptic, you know, because it's not just like, oh, that's going to rise up to 8 feet at max. That is, no, seriously, like 8 feet of water all over the land as far as you can see is rolling in, and this is talking about 15 in a fucking state that's largely sea level. Like, there's not going to be a Florida left.
And you got
luckily
was it Marjorie Taylor Greene who was saying that the government is doing weather control, doing Red Alert 2 on the weather.
Yeah.
It's okay, though, because DeSantis is just going to fucking fire the Iron Curtain at everything important in Florida.
He'd never be trusted with such technology.
No.
They finally brought it back. They love the Iron Curtain so much.
Yeah. He can be trusted, however, with safely fucking removing his citizens from danger, though.
Oh, yeah, we'll get to that in a second, because Tesla has something to say for us.
Oh, Christ, this.
Did you see that guy? Hi at Tesla at Elon Musk. I live in Naples, Florida, and I'm trying to evacuate from incoming Cat 4 hurricane #Milton, forecasted to directly hit southwest Florida Tuesday PM. My 2024 Tesla Model Y is fully charged at 90%, but won't turn on. The screen is black. Your help would be much appreciated. Thank you. He was asked, have you tried rebooting your car?
What age to be alive?
Yes, some random internet guy suggested that, and it worked. Thanks. To all the well-wishers on X platform, just wanted to let you know that I'm okay, and I was able to reboot my Tesla with some advice from another random X user. I did not receive any support from Tesla on how to reboot the car, but still love the company. Thanks.
Of course he does.
It's a good thing those cars are so waterproof, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's like, you know, Tesla and Elon Musk are obviously very busy, like fucking colonizing at America. So, like, fucking, you know, that guy's just got to fend for himself.
Another helpful blue tick asked, maybe 12-volt battery issue? Check your app to see if you got any service alerts prior to the car not responding. To which he says, thanks, it's not a battery issue, it's a software issue. It keeps doing it.
Not a battery issue yet.
It keeps doing it, even when driving. Screen goes black and unresponsive. Scary. Still love the company, though.
Also, I just checked, and you guys were right. Milton strengthened back into a Category 5 as of 25 minutes ago, with winds of 160 miles per hour compared to the peak of 180 yesterday so far. But the pressure's down to 920 millibars, and it's still intensifying. Like, Christ almighty, this is going to be apocalyptic.
Well, have no fear. Uber is here.
Oh no, this shit.
The Florida Division of Emergency Management. We have partnered with Uber to provide Floridians free rides to and from shelters in counties evacuating for #Milton. Get a ride. Open the Uber app. Tap account on the bottom right and tap wallets. Add promo code Milton Relief.
You know, the film The Day After Tomorrow would have been massively improved if they'd spent most of the film in an Uber.
This is so fucked up. Like,
I know.
Don't you have a National Guard for this shit?
It's fucking amazing. What a time to be alive that you can just use... You can use code Milton Relief to escape from the hurricane.
Yeah, so on, you know, fucking... That's happening there. I can't wait to see what knock-on effects that has for British weather. That's probably going to be fine and definitely
it absolutely
not
cunted it down
England
this way today, so that was fun.
Oh yeah, I had to go to the shop first thing this morning. You know, the second I stepped outside the house, it just absolutely fucking like pissed down. Like God was mad at me particularly for, and I can't imagine what I might have done to annoy like him, but yeah.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it though. Like that's climate change. It's a little thing we need to deal with. We have bigger problems, such as a copper shortage.
Oh. Every story
I don't have much on this.
Oh god! Every story you're pulling out tonight, David, is one that's making me go, "Oh, this fucking thing." So yeah, all right.
Yeah, yeah, that is the effect I generally have on people.
Yeah, this fucking island is so normal.
Yeah, we're running out of copper, so we now are being told by. You know, it's a good article when we're told scientists are advising, especially when it's The Guardian falling for this shit. We have to do, quote, urban mining to stave off the copper shortage.
Oh man, Ian Nasser, eat your heart out.
The research found that in the UK there are approximately 823 million unused or broken tech items hiding in drawers of doom, containing as much as 38,449 tonnes of copper. Enough to provide 30% of the copper needed for the UK's planned transition to a decarbonised electricity grid by 2030.
I thought we just weren't doing that.
Well, no, we are, but we're doing
we're
it.
saying we're doing it.
I thought business said no.
No, business loves it, actually. Business really fucking loves it. And the reason that business loves it is, oh no, hang on, BP is telling me that they don't.
Is business going to pay me for my old fucking Nokia that's been in the fucking cupboard for 20 years?
Listen, you had your chance with Envirophone.com however many fucking years ago. Mind those adverts.
Will you buy any old shit.com?
Yeah. Related climate is fine news. BP has decided to completely fuck off a target for cutting its outputs.
Yep.
So, in 2020, they said that they were going to cut 40% of their outputs by 2030. In February this year, February this year they downgraded it to 25%, and they have today downgraded it to 0%, and any other number really at all.
The system works.
Tomorrow it'll be a 40% increase when they decide they need AI to run their petrol stations or something.
Yeah, like all of these fucking companies have basically realised, do you know what? We've reached a point in discourse setting that now this shit looks inevitable, that we can basically go, oh well, fuck it then. Like they were never planning to do anything at any point.
No, how dare you be so short-sighted and lacking confidence in the oil and gas industry, James?
Not even just the oil and gas industry. Like every single fucking corporate company, every single company that has, said, oh, we're going to cut X by Y some distant point in the future. They've all just been like, they've been lying through their teeth. They've just been like, well, we'll say we're doing something, so we don't have to do something now. And when everyone resigns themselves to being doomed, then we'll just admit, yeah, we were never going to do anything. It's business as usual, and you're just going to have to deal with, Florida being erased by Hurricane Milton, or,
Yeah.
It always has been just this whole.
I'm gonna
go on.
I'm gonna step in and say though that the it's like fucking like as the the state approved educators within Florida themselves would point out, it's not fossil fuels that caused climate change, and it's not climate change that caused the hurricane. It's the fact that like fucking God hates transphobes that caused the hurricane. So maybe Florida should buck its fucking ideas up.
So the reason that they've done this, you'll be pleased to hear, is profits. They would like more of them, please.
Really? I find that hard to believe.
I know, fucked up. Largely because the 40% target, which was again downgraded to 25% before being cut entirely, roughly ran about in sync with when their profit margins did not grow as fast as other companies. Not went down, just did not grow as fast. So that's bad, actually. Maybe
they would make more money if they weren't killing everyone on Earth. Have they thought about that? Maybe there'd be more people to buy petrol.
Well,
they are. They weren't just setting the ocean on fire every 20 minutes for shits and giggles.
They are going to stop because BP does still fully intend, in all honesty, 100%
to replace the
sure
ozone layer with napalm.
No, they're going to go net zero by 2050. BP.
Okay.
What they're going to have? Well, I can honestly believe that they can. You know what I mean? Do they mean like they're just going to have zero nets? Is that what they mean by that?
I'm sure there's going to be some kind of spreadsheet fuckery where if you arrange this table in a certain way with all these when they plant all the fucking trees that don't exist to offset their carbon output. If you look at it in this particular way, it's net zero. What's that?
Yeah.
The newly sown forest has burned down. Well, whom could have foreseen that happening? Net zero.
If you're listening to this at the same time Rob is, if you listen really carefully, you hear a lot of avalanches in the Alps, followed by the echo of carbon credits. So they are obviously, they can't just say, oh well, we've cut the target and then not say what they're going to do with it. What they are going to do with it is they're just going to just swarm into the Middle East and, get new oil there. I'm sure there's no reason for them to, at this moment in time, be considering the Middle East as a growth market.
I wonder if there are any events in the Middle East at the moment.
No, nothing ever happens there. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
This is fine. That all of this is absolutely fine, though, because we, the great British nation, are going to offset this.
Oh.
And it'll be fine.
Is this the article, David?
This is not the article. This is an article.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it is this is this is just some excerpts from this article. I do have another actual article. So Starmer gave a speech, which was
I bet that was fucking exciting.
Oh yeah, but he managed to make the speech worse by first giving it to the Sun as an article.
Of course he did.
An article titled,
has he still not figured out that like fucking Daddy Rupert will never love him?
No.
And it's sad. It's sad to see that the typical panache and dynamism of a Starmer speech is being lost in the text medium.
Yeah.
Yeah. The article is titled, "I will not sacrifice great British industry to the drum-banging, finger-wagging net zero extremists."
He didn't write this. The fucking Sun wrote this.
I was thinking that. This feels very much like they got a Sun writer to.
Maybe. Anyway,
yeah.
this is the words he spoke in the speech.
Sat them down with like a fucking, do you know what I mean? Like 3,000 hertz tone, which is like, what most approximates the sound of like tuning out Keir Starmer, and then just had him go to work with that in the background.
When I stood in front of 10 Downing Street for the first time as Prime Minister, I promised to rebuild Britain in the national interest, one that puts working people first. We cannot do that. We cannot do that without growth and jobs, and today's major investment puts us on that path. We are firing the gun on a record investment, our biggest so far, that will pull carbon out of the air and bury it safely underground.
Oh, shit.
I'm enjoying the recurring theme we've got tonight of just completely insane boondoggles and their effects on the actual world we inhabit. There's completely unproven technology that has never successfully been implemented pretty much anywhere, or at least certainly not on any sort of scale. Yeah, we're going to put 22 fucking billion pounds into it.
Yeah, I mean, I can think of a way to if anyone's interested in hearing my plan.
The groundbreaking... Fuck's sake.
I've got very few good things to say about Scottish Greens, but when I was last at a party conference, the single way to get the entire fucking room to roll their eyes and groan loudly was to fucking mention carbon capture technology. It was like Pavlovian. And that should be the fucking response of every single person whenever this horse shit gets mentioned. Like, show me a single instance of carbon capture technology actually working. Like, actually taking in, securing, and sealing permanently more carbon than's already in the air. There's not a single one. There's not even the fucking prototype stone.
What about that thing with the whale shit?
It was a bunch of whale shit.
This groundbreaking technology, known as carbon capture usage and storage, is a game changer in our efforts to fulfill our legal obligations to reach net zero by 2050 in a sensible way, while supporting jobs and industry.
I mean,
sensible way. We don't want to do it while, like, running with scissors or anything, do we? That would just be dangerous.
The fundamental problem that we have with this particular brand of Labour being in power is that they are absolutely in hoc to all of the most reactionary and terrible forces that exist in this country and the wider world, but also like they see like a big sparkly machine that says "problems be gone" on the side of it, and they go, wow, that sounds amazing, too good to be true. And they're like, no, it's actually real. And that's why they put the £22 billion into it, or will put the 22 billion in, when the actual reality of trying to sequester any kind of carbon is actually the extremely boring and arduous job of doing things like restoring peat bogs.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. And planting trees. But as we've discussed previously on this podcast, you can't patent peat bogs and trees, so
yeah,
I guess we'll die.
Rewilding the land is pointless because it's unproductive at that point, and
I mean, can you imagine if we tried to rewild the British Isles? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, fuck, how insane would the papers go if we let, like, grass verges at the side of the road grow out?
LionelHutStreamBubble.jpg.
Do you know what I mean, though? Like, if we decided, all right, you know what it is? We're gonna stop sending, like, guys from the council out to cut all the grass everywhere every fucking 2 weeks. The fucking country would burn. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah,
because you've got
burns either way.
Yeah.
This technology captures carbon emissions before they reach the atmosphere.
Doubt it.
And buries them safely.
No, not true. 100% not
with
true.
With Britain
Wrong.
being
False.
one of the few places on Earth that can do it safely.
No.
I doubt Britain's like capacity to do anything safely, even in this instance. Fuck all.
From the country that brought you the Ajax.
Yeah.
The Tories tried 3 times, but were too mired in scandal and internal politics to deliver on it.
God.
The problem with carbon capture technology is the scandals.
How many like high profile advisors of the Tories fired this week?
My changed Labour Party is putting the country first.
Bullshit.
And getting on with the job.
And I know, as a son of a toolmaker, what it takes to build technology that does things.
We are delivering on our mandate for change.
On our mandate from heaven.
Where are they actually delivering on the mandate from change at all? Because all I'm hearing...
Here, right now?
No, but all I'm hearing from this is, yes, so we're going to pump a bunch of gas into leaky rocks and pretend it's good. Like, I'm not actually hearing...
They're just going to... Do you know what I mean? They're going to hoover up the atmosphere and pump it deep into the hollow earth to annoy the dinosaurs. That cannot go wrong.
Yeah, pitch this as we will suffocate underground Hitler.
Yeah. The enlightened master sitting in meditation. First his takeout arrives, and then subsequently he finds he can't eat it because he has to hold his breath for 40 years due to all the CO2 being pumped under. Great. Love it. Perfectly rational.
Later this month, we will show that Britain is once again open for business at the International Investment Summit, securing new private sector investment in the jobs, skills and industries of the future.
British fire sale now on.
Can anyone lend me a cruise missile?
But if history has taught us anything, it's that nothing worth pursuing...
History hasn't taught us a fucking thing! Come on! I've tried to be reasonable, but there are limits.
It's that nothing worth pursuing... Sorry, James, on you go.
Just a Greek sending back a single letter with a word if on it. Like, great, yes.
It's that nothing worth pursuing is easy. Blockers will always get in the way.
Blockers will always get in the way. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's just a terrible choice of words for the government that has blocked fucking puberty blockers from being sent out to trans kids. Like,
there's too many layers to this.
My first thought there when you said blockers will always get in the way, I'm imagining a lemming columnist complaining that, like, you know what I mean, someone's put a blocker there to stop them walking off the cliff, impinging on their freedoms.
We have a right to run
Rachel
into the lava.
Reeves has to do austerity because some little guy is holding 2 arms out.
Rachel Reeves just walking along and clicking on nearby people, making their heads explode after a second. It's necessary. It's an important part of the strategy.
Yeah, these are the difficult choices.
Lemmings do have the Labour front bench haircut now that I think about it, though.
Huh. Huh.
Yes.
And they sound like Keir Starmer.
Oh, I know some, like Extinction Rebellion, will lecture me on carbon capture investment. They'll say it isn't the right choice. But it's working people who come first. Without this tech,
there are no jobs on a dead planet, you cunt!
Well, without this tech, heavy industries such as cement, glassmaking, and chemicals will risk having to down tools.
Chemicals, chemicals.
Just chemicals.
The industry chemicals.
Yeah, the abstract concept of chemistry is at risk.
Have we thought about the damage that net zero might do to the humble potion maker?
Potion seller, I hear you're going out of business.
I mean, they obviously don't want to say, net zero
profits are too strong for you.
They don't want to say, net zero will damage the petrochemical industry, right? So they're just saying chemicals because they're fucking dorks who don't understand anything about how to convey a point. Just, it's so bad. This is... everything we've covered in this episode too far as well, I gotta give you credit, David, is all of a kind. It's all of alike. It's like, how did we have this situation that's unfolding? Oh, here is an example of it. It's just very depressing.
Mm-hmm. I would like you to
go on some kind of mythic quest and get Keir Starmer's dad to craft me a hammer, and then set about solving the country's problems.
We can't afford Nidavellir right now. Right, I need you to just... Obviously, it's me reading this, but I really need you to try and picture how these words will sound coming out of Starmer's facehole. The jobs of brickies, sparkies, and engineers... the backbone of Britain will be risked.
Fuck off, Lord Sir Keir King Starmer, or whatever the fucking name is. Do you know what I mean? Oh, worried about the brickies, are we, you fucking worship?
This is a Sun journalist writing for him, phoning it in, and knowing that he has to read this and going, you know what, fuck him, and using nothing even approximating his voice. Great. Love it.
I don't know. That is definitely the case.
Oh, you think he'll say brickies and sparkies casually?
I think these are things that he will have actually said out loud.
Yeah, he said them out loud, but it was because someone at the fucking Sun told him to.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't think they're quite at the point of being able to actually put words directly in his mouth.
I mean, McSweeney's gonna 90% of the way there.
Yeah, they've definitely got their hand up his arse. So I honestly think
if the Sun didn't write this for him, then that means Keir Starmer has managed to target a speech for an audience, and I don't think he has that fucking capability within him under any circumstances.
Well, let's be fair, we know he's never going to write his own fucking speeches. He's got some fucking wank with 4 briefcases to do that for him.
Fucking Goro from Mortal Kombat.
Briefcases Georg.
I'm just picturing Rachel Reeves as Sindel now, and it all makes far too much sense.
That means
I don't know what that is. I've only played Mortal Kombat 1.
Mortal Kombat 2 was the height of a series in my view, but that was coincidentally the first one I played, so you know.
Well, they didn't have Mortal Kombat 2 in on the arcade cabinet in shops in concert when I was in school, so.
And this is what Extinction Rebellion took from you.
That means fewer new homes.
Did you know if you got a double perfect, double flawless victory fatality against Reptile on the bridge stage, you unlock Noob Saibot?
I hope everyone's writing this stuff down.
Yeah.
The depressing thing is, I'm sitting here thinking,
and then Jesus himself would come down from heaven and high five you.
The depressing thing is, I'm sitting here thinking, yep, I heard all these playground rumors as well, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then they put him in fucking Mortal Kombat 2, as you had to do an uppercut on the. David, interrupt, please, for the love of God, stop me.
No, let them
pure unadulterated ADHD is flowing right now.
If you Hadouken the van parked next to the SS Anne. That means fewer new homes, fewer new roads, and a slow decline to the Dark Ages.
Oh, I love some Dark
They
Ages
didn't have roads or homes in the Dark Ages.
I wonder what in Keir Starmer's mind. I wonder what the Dark Ages denotes.
Oh, I'm feeling Eleanor Yaga just getting incredibly angry the longer we're talking here. But I will say this: in the supposed Dark Ages, which corresponds to lack of sources, etc., like. They at least would fucking skin and eat their nobility if they got out of hand. So sure, let's do it.
Yeah, sounds good. Stop selling it to me. To those drum banging, finger wagging extremists, I say I will never sacrifice great British industry. But
we know
this. But this is a third way that brings that brings industry with us on our path to net zero, while creating 4,000 jobs, reigniting our industrial heartlands, and pumping £5 billion into the economy every year once it is up and running.
I hate
we need to bring industry with us, obviously. Like, you know what I mean? That fucking guy from Zelda handing you climate change and going, take this, it's dangerous to go alone.
I hate this fucking third way bullshit as well, because it's like, it used to be like, you know, one way is the capitalist like way, one way is like the, you know, the communist socialist, the workers way. We're going to introduce a new third way, and it's like, well, there is no longer that socialist way at all whatsoever. This doesn't rhetorically work anymore because people aren't strung between those two poles anymore. But they still just fucking cargo cult the hell out of it anyway.
Yeah, so it's clear there are still three ways to do it. There's the capitalist way, like you said. There's the Tony Blair third way, which is now the second way because we've defeated socialism, meaning that promoted to the third spot is Gaddafi thought.
Okay.
So yeah, but he always said that his way was the third way, but Tony Blair was already around and it kind of had it already at the time. So
and that's why
Keir Starmer's going to assemble the most women in cabinet offices ever, and then like put them all in a special security force uniform.
and institute Pan-African nation. Yeah.
I now just, cursed I am, I've now just got an image of someone in Florida staring up at the sky going, they say the next hurricane will be sent by a woman. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, God. So yeah, anyway, that's that article. Just very quickly on Labour bullshit as well. Obviously, we mentioned briefly earlier
Have we not suffered enough?
No, Sue Gray's out. Which is very funny.
Yeah, F.
Also
how are our ever-present, knowledgeable centrist political analysis guys doing? How are the baldest and most annoying men you ever heard of in your life coping with this?
Yeah, Ian Dunt's not having a good time.
Like on it, it is fascinating.
And to that I say, good.
Yeah, good. I'm glad he's having a miserable time of it. But like at the same time, the man has less memory than a goldfish. So like every day is just filled with like the same novelties, excitements, and disappointments as any day would ever have. So
honestly, he's Philomena Dunt is all he is. Just every fucking day is
Philomena cunt.
Do you know what it is though? Like every time I read a take by that prick, I think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sit on that cunt and hatch him.
Hello, and thank you for choosing Podcasting as Praxis. Our podcasters are experiencing an unusually high volume of unfunny bits at the moment, so you've been placed in a queue. Your patronage is important to us, and I need to inform you of the great benefits you freeloaders are missing out on by not subscribing on Patreon. A back catalogue of premium episodes, plus
2 bonus episodes
every month, ad-free regular episodes, Plus, you get access to our Discord, which, in addition to being able to harass the Praxis Cast crew with your favourite Star Wars characters, will allow you to listen to all of your favourite cutting room floor moments, such as... And...
Fuck off, Alistair.
Subscribing lets us create more of these hilarious moments, so please do subscribe for just $5 a month on patreon.com/praxiscast. And now, back to the episode.
Also noted that there was an article with the headline in The Guardian, Keir Starmer is an unforced error machine. Have they tried turning him off and on again by Marina Hyde?
Oh my god.
Keir Starmer has lost Marina fucking Hyde.
That's... You hate to see it, really. Like,
yeah.
You also hate to imagine anyone trying to turn Keir Starmer on.
Fuck's sake. They're also fully into hung parliament territory in the polls now as well. The last one had them on 316 seats, which is fucking love. Again, they genuinely don't have an opposition at the moment.
It's also like fucking Kamala Harris is taking fucking campaigning advice from these guys. The fuck?
Oh, not just them, also Clinton.
Yeah,
and Hillary Clinton.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, I could sort of, right, in my head, if I was, if you fucking shot me and I was walking around with a gaping head wound, I could sort of understand someone being like, oh, these guys have just won a really big election, they must be worth listening to. But if you paid any attention further than that to this point, surely you'd be able to go, oh, actually, maybe these guys are kind of shit. And yet, it's...
Okay, but why would anyone in the Democrat Party pay any kind of attention to fucking anything, let alone politics? And the material reality thereof.
They actually, like, the fucking thing is, like, Harris was, I mean, obviously, we're not going to get good shit out of them, but at least the start of their campaign was fucking excellent, immediately backfooted their opposition, collapsed their chances to win, and made massive insurgent, like, inroads by seizing on left's, like, leaning rhetoric, just rhetoric,
Yeah. And then
doing what Obama
Dick Cheney.
Yeah. Oh, the fucking Dick Cheney thing is ridiculous.
Like, Clinton and the others, they're fucking convinced that if they do this whole, national unity, fascism, but we're not going to call it that, is beyond the pale, come and join the sensible majority, let's calm things down again. They're convinced that's a vote winner when no one fucking cares. And all this Starmer shit is just the...
You know what I mean? Like, the two outcomes of the fucking, like, election, as far as they're, like, concerned... The two possible outcomes are they barely scrape a fucking win and then, like, immediately collapse and, like, in 4 years' time, America, like, builds a Death Star and, do you know what I mean? Destroys the Middle East permanently forever. Or they lose and they spend the next 4 years screaming at the left. And either of those are perfectly, like, fucking acceptable outcomes to, like, Democrat donors, so... why not pal around with Dick Cheney? And here he's got some incredible hunting stories he can tell you.
Maybe it's just that Dick Cheney's really scary. I mean, when Dick Cheney shot that guy in the face, that guy apologized to him, so,
Yeah, but that guy was clearly some kind of fucking prick. I mean, who goes on a hunting trip with Dick Cheney, for fuck's sake?
Well, I'd like to now bring us to the article.
The article.
How much worse could it be?
The article, yes. It's titled, Shh, my dad was a Tory MP, why I didn't tell my friends.
It can always be worse.
Oh, is this the fucking what? Is this the fucking article that was it? No,
yes.
Was it Sam Coates? No, not Sam Coates. That other guy was raving about how good this article was, and it's just an article by someone.
Yes.
Yeah, by a Tory MP.
Yeah.
It's child of a Tory MP. Yeah, great. Well, how did you get that gig in a national newspaper? I wonder.
Yeah, let that run through. Let that percolate as we read the article. What does your dad do? Is a question I have dreaded in my adult life.
Just lie.
You can just say any old shit. No one can check.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, dead.
You can also
just say he was a toolmaker. You know what I mean? People never tire of hearing that shit.
You can also, I mean, you could also do, I mean, this might be sacrilege, but you could say, yeah, my dad's a cunt, he's a Tory MP, and everyone would be like, yeah, that's fair enough. Sorry, mate, bad luck there.
What if his dad heard him, though? Then he wouldn't get a job at the fucking Guardian or wherever he churned out his fucking shite.
We're not all fucking bridge pyromaniacs. My invariable answer, he works in property, was deeply misleading.
Yeah,
that's better.
I imagine he did, yeah.
But I told myself it was not completely untrue. He did work in a property. It just happened to be the Palace of Westminster.
And he was a buy-to-let landlord. Nailed on. 100% final answer.
Yeah, even if not, spiritually it's true. It wasn't always this way. When Dad was first elected in 2010, I was 10 years old and didn't understand...
if he was first elected in 2010, he is 100,000,000,000% a fucking buy-to-let landlord, like. Mm-hmm. Is there anyone in Parliament that isn't, apart from, like, Corbyn?
No. Seeing his name plastered around the county on election boards was fun. On car journeys with friends, we played the Simon Hart game, the aim being to guess how many of his election boards we would pass on the drive. In my under-11s cricket team, I was known as Simon Hart's son. I felt a certain amount of pride that my friends knew who my dad was.
What changed?
The night of the general election, May 6th.
I've just found an article at the Mirror. 5 senior Tory landlords accused of blocking renters' reform bill named. You'll never guess who one of those is.
The night of the general election in 2010, as my parents tucked in my sister and me in my grandparents' spare room, I remember them explaining where they were going. It's the blue team against the red team tonight.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Daddy's on the blue team.
Daddy's
and we've got to
flag.
stay up all night. And we've got to stay up all night to see who has won. At 4 a.m, the candidates took the stage in Carmarthen Leisure Centre and the returning officer read out the results. Blah, 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 blah. Guess what? He won. The early years were wonderful. I visited Parliament.
My dad was also a professional Quake 3 Team Arena player, so I feel some kinship with this fucking clown.
I visited Parliament.
Glad to hear that zero remorse for those early coalition years where they did just that horrendous shit of setting up the entirety of austerity and the ensuing deaths.
Yes, they were wonderful.
Yeah, they were.
I visited.
Also, they camped a lot of spawns.
I visited Parliament for the first time when I was 12, ate on the terrace and watched the PMQs before meeting the PM himself, David Cameron.
Wow, what an exciting fucking time for a 12-year-old. Holy shit, we had different childhoods.
Fresh from the chamber, he told us he was relieved to escape the childish bluster. These were also my first years in secondary school. I was open about Dad's job.
It's amazing how much you can achieve in life when you have the word briefcase for a mouth.
Yeah.
In history, we reenacted the Battle of Hastings, and I found myself charging across the playing fields wielding a blue Vote Simon Hart election board shield. If politics come up in the classroom,
this is the worst thing I have ever heard in my life.
Mm.
Yeah, which is
Social
high praise for this
should have
podcast.
Intervened.
If politics came up in the classroom, my schoolmates would say, Adam's dad is an MP. Which party from the teacher? Conservative, I'd reply. That would be it.
Yeah, I hope the teacher threw a fucking chair at you.
But as the terms rolled by, some teachers probed further. What does your dad think of X? Or what's his policy on Y? I never had a clue, so I'd ring him to find out. I didn't mind. He had an interesting job. I was flattered people cared. In my mid-teens, something changed.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I began to become politically aware.
Doubt.
The cloak of naivety that had protected me was wearing off. Teachers began asking about things like austerity, airstrikes on Syria, or universal credit. But by far the most common question, often asked in front of a full classroom, was, does your dad travel first class on the train?
What?
So there was this whole scandal about fucking MPs travelling first class and putting it on public expense at the time. That's what this stupid shit is. And
I
like
remember that.
I'm gonna guess, like, I'm fucking head from in here. He's gonna use this as a rhetorical kind of wedge here to say, yeah, this was the issue that really concerned people at the time, and it's about proximately equivalent to the whole issue of, you know, airstrikes in Syria, etc. Like, this is the sort of petty shit they cared about, and so the criticisms really weren't that meaningful. It was just red versus blue team after all. Something like that, David? Am I even vaguely in the right solar system?
No, it's worse.
No.
Yes, I'd reply, wondering why 650 people travelling to work comfortably attracted so much attention. When I got older, I added smugly, and you're welcome to join him at Port Talbot Station at 5:30 on Monday morning. Cue outrage.
Yeah, back in my day, we'd meet in the Asda car park.
Yeah.
The other enormous change of the 2010s was technology and social media. When Dad was first elected, I didn't have a phone. Only about 25% of the population did. To hear what people thought of him, I would have to go to his constituency office and open the post, which was then a method of contacting your MP as much as an email. By the mid-2010s...
So what I'm hearing here is his dad was too cheap to hire office staff.
Yes. By the mid-2010s, everything was online. We hate when things are on the computer. At first, reading through the comments section on Dad's Facebook page was funny. Insults were usually light-hearted. As an MP, you bat at 8 and don't bowl was a favourite of mine. I hate this little cunt so much.
What?
I'm assuming that's a cricket thing.
Isn't it?
I'm assuming so. You know,
I mean,
and
I
obviously,
assume it's cricket, but still, what?
I don't know. All I know is that cricket is the only sport more, like, true to be reviled than golf. Disgustingly English fucking pastime. Ban it.
But yeah, I mean, imagine though, the tragedy of people getting more and more irate with this cunt's dad. The more fucking the more fucking disabled people they killed. You know. Shocking,
yeah,
really, like.
Yeah, that's just going to happen though. That's government. It didn't last. Comments became personal, nasty. I'm going to run you over, and then reverse was one. It's nice being able to actually read this stuff out, and we can keep it in the episode.
Yeah, no need for beeping. It's great.
Almost all of it. Although shielded from my sister and me at the time, threatening "I know where you live" messages arrived in Dad's inbox amid the usual sweary, barely literate abuse. I'm pretty sure everyone knows where every MP lives because there's a register with the electoral roll published when you vote for them. But yeah, okay.
Yeah.
This was the first parliament in history to face the full force of the internet. MPs, once protected by the cost of a stamp and the effort of walking to a post box...
I'm sorry, but did we only get the internet in 2010? Is that what this fucking dickhead is saying? The internet was only invented when I became old enough to be aware of the internet.
I mean, this guy earlier said the biggest change was technology and whatever. Like, even his grammar doesn't fucking work, so I wouldn't expect him to have any particularly deep thoughts when he can't even string the superficial shit together. Like, the biggest change was technology.
He's barely even shown any mastery over fucking object permanence at this point. Where were we? MPs, once protected by the cost of...
Were we at the inevitable part where he goes to university and people won't shag him?
We're getting there. MPs, once protected by the cost of a stamp and the effort of walking to postbox, were now vulnerable to people's abusive, booze-fueled thoughts, which could be delivered...
I assure you, I do not need to be booze-fueled.
Which could be delivered to their inbox any time of the night or day with a click. In the constituency office, my dad's staff, asked for more secure locks to be fitted, having had one too many demanding, emotional individuals refusing to leave.
I'm
Later,
starving
how
to
would
death.
locks help with
Please
that?
help me. Please, please, for the love of God, help me. I can't feed my family. My home is too cold. Please. Yes, of course. Right. Sure.
Okay, but if the problem is someone's come to your constituency office for the surgery or whatever, and then refuses to leave, secure locks are only going to make that problem worse for you.
Well, presumably it's people turning up demanding to speak to the guy who's constantly voting for things that kill the disabled. To have a word when he doesn't want to have a word. Don't worry though.
Again, though, more secure locks only going to make the problem of them not leaving harder to deal with.
Well, that's if they can get in the first place, is what I'm saying. Like, if they can't get in the first place. But here's an even better idea. How do we possibly stop all these, terrible disabled activists coming in and causing bother? Later, they swapped with the estate agents upstairs to be further from the street entrance. We made ourselves less accessible.
To give the minefield more time to do its work.
I'm gonna be real. Like fucking, people who work for Tory politicians swapping positions with estate agents is a bit of a fucking lateral move. It's an equivalent exchange, frankly.
Potentially, the staff didn't change location at all.
No, say both work for the same landlord.
In June 2016, when I was revising for my GCSEs...
Oh, fuck me. No, if they move upstairs, then that means all the people in wheelchairs can't get up to complain about them.
Correct,
Checkmate,
that was the original
activists.
point I was making. In June 2016...
you didn't make it very well.
Well, that's your fault. In June 2016, when I was revising for my GCSEs, the MP, Jo Cox, was murdered after leaving her constituency surgery. Like everyone else, I had read many news articles about murders.
Who was she murdered by?
No one
it's
in particular.
fine.
Whose politics did the killers more closely align with?
The abstract concept of hate.
It's fine.
As I understand it, he was very angry about gardening, but was quiet about it.
I had read many news articles about murders, but this one, with its pictures of a 40-something MP with 2 kids, felt odd. At home, the powers that be reviewed our, quote, home security. We failed on account of the public footpath that runs past our front door.
What? So, because they lived on a street? Is that what the problem was?
Yes. Some men fitted a panic button in my parents' wardrobe as well as a motion-triggered alarm outside the door. The first night, the alarm was in operation, a badger walked past and set it off, summoning Difford Powys police to our house at 3 a.m. As my sister and I were away, my parents saw the policeman at the door and assumed one of us had died.
And yet, everyone was alive?
Yes.
Probably not the badger, though. I imagine they had that fucker shot.
Went full American cop on a badger.
I mean, he was showing up with a fucking biological agent, fucking terrorist act right there.
By Theresa May's snap election in 2017, I was in 6th form. Elections
Fucking hell, we don't need your life story, mate.
Once new and exciting, were tiresome and horrible. My tetchy parents worked around the clock and had no capacity to think about anything past the election day. Election boards were vandalised and stolen regularly. Things that never happened in 2010. Leaflets were sent back to the office with vitriol scribbled all over them.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
the country just...
It's almost as if circumstances had changed in the intervening years.
Yeah, just completely in and of themselves just became more polarised for some reason. And I assume it's because of the phasing out of the old school memes like the fucking "Oh really, owl," a thing that this infant would not be aware of.
David,
apparently.
David, did this fucking article...
Nobody talks about all your base anymore, and that's why this country has gone to the fucking dogs.
Yeah. David, did this article get started because this guy got a whiff of a briefcase and it took him back to his childhood? Is this the kind of novel-length bullshit we're in for here?
We are about halfway through the article.
Jesus Christ.
Christ,
fucking God.
This is ridiculous. My dad was a fucking helmet as well, but you don't hear me going on about it at this length.
That year, I was sitting at the back of the computer room in school when I saw a headline that Parliament was on lockdown.
Sitting at the back of the computer room in his leather jacket, smoking. You know what I mean?
After a suspected terror incident inside the grounds. I put my hand up and asked to go to the loo, where I stared at my phone for the next half an hour, fearing someone had taken a gun or bomb inside to kill MPs. It later transpired a police officer had been stabbed to death and the knifeman had been shot and killed. But I still remember the creeping fear of that half hour, the panic.
Oh, well, I mean, that's terrible, that, like.
Yeah, just living in fear constantly, even though nothing bad ever happens to you, apart from, like, nasty messages on the internet. And the people who live through all the horrible shit that your cunt of a parent voted in favour of, like, statistically. Those people though, the pain and suffering that they experience is just, you know, I mean, they're not real people, are they? So
I hate to have Katie Hopkins by proxy.
You've got to understand, though, right, that, like, living in fear because you can't afford to eat or to, like, pay for your rent or to clothe your children or whatever.
That's your fault, yeah.
You know, that's just the natural order of things. But MPs living in fear because someone, like, was mean to them on Twitter.com, well, you know, that's fucking outrageous. That violates the only universal fucking rule of nature that should be considered inviolable, and that is decorum.
I mean, fucking look, I hate to kind of,
as everyone knows, it is like the pinnacle of decorum to let the poor starve.
I mean, I hate to kind of, you know, bang on this a little bit because I'm not like his biggest supporter in the world, but fucking Jeremy Corbyn can, you know, go to football games, stand in among the crowd. Like, you know, the guy has had real, like, serious, active, him personal death threats, not just like noise on Twitter sent his way, and he's still able to go about his life and go about his business because people generally like him. You know, he can depend upon society, like actual living society around him, to defend him if someone has a go. Whereas you get these kind of cunts who, you know, they have to fucking hide away in the mold-filled mansion to escape the wrath of, you know, the choices they have made and the consequences they have wrought. Like, you know, make better choices. Govern in the public interest, and the public will not be so fucking raj at you. You know, actually deal with the fucking far-right fascist extremists, like, you know, rather than just, like, let them have their fucking training days, etc., and then go on to murder Joe Cox. Like, you know, there's actually govern, and this isn't a problem.
Counterpoint, no.
Well, shit.
When university came around in September 2018, I adopted a tell-no-one approach. I wanted the MP's son label I had carried
was that
through
don't ask,
school
don't
to
tell?
end. I couldn't help feeling uncomfortable that my friends knew how much money my dad earned and that a mistake at work or in his personal life would be broadcast to the country.
Don't worry, mate. They could have told immediately because of your accent.
Perhaps, more importantly, Dad had gone from having an interesting job to an embarrassing one, mostly because he was a Conservative.
Mostly because of all the fucking things he did in government.
Yeah, that's the party he chose to be a member of, chose to stand for, etc.
If the Conservatives had actually, like, fucking, do you know what I mean? Like, given fucking children free school meals and, you know, implemented universal basic income and funded the NHS and many other fucking things they could have done, then, you know, your dad being a Conservative MP would not be a cause for embarrassment at university. Yeah. It's the fact that he was a fucking cunt from the cunt party that made it embarrassing, you fucking
From
cunt.
one of the cunt parties, James, please.
Yeah, it's 2024, come on now.
Also, like, I mean, you know, Jamie's not wrong. Like,
okay, but this kid's talking about 2018.
Well,
fair enough.
In the counterfactual...
Well, the party's still a cunt party, but go on, James.
Well, just in the counterfactual Jamie's proposing, where you've got David Cameron comes in and is actually chastened and like, you know, serious and sober about the NHS because of his family history, rather than just performatively using his family history to shield him as he creates cuts. Like if David Cameron came in and actually properly funded the NHS and gave it like, you know, non-wrecking reform in the form of actually, you know, making it more secure, more independent, more able to better negotiate on the international medicine markets, that kind of thing. If he came in and did all that, and also all the other shit he already did, you could pretty much map out one-to-one that there'd be begrudging, like, well, he's an absolute cunt for all these reasons, but he'd be given a bit of credit on the one good thing he did. The problem we've got that makes this so embarrassing is not just that, you know, they're doing bad shit, it's that they're literally only doing bad shit. They're not doing a single fucking thing that actually helps any fucking person. Like, we're not saying, like, the fucking thing of this is, right, they'd still be cunts, but you don't have to be perfect to not be hated, you know? You just have to have some fucking redeeming feature, something you give the public at large that makes them go, well, at least they're actually doing one good thing. And they never fucking had even that.
But Tony Blair had already invented Sure Start, so what can you do?
Yeah. Also, I don't share that opinion at all. Give me full communism or fuck you.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm not saying what would be good. I'm saying that, like, if this guy wants to be fucking hated, right? To be clear,
I know that, but I will hate them if they don't give me full communism.
There's probably, like, do you know what I mean? There's probably enough money in the world that they could have just implemented like full communism, but then also built like Britain 2 in the North Sea and let all the corporations go there and like just sent them all, like, you know what I mean? Like, if we implement full communism, we don't really need GDP, so we can just send it all to like fucking Doggerland and let people like over there like piss it up the wall on PPE or whatever the fuck it is they do for fun.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong. The whole fucking, I mean, part of the issue was it the Panama Papers that David Cameron was outed as having like all this fucking money stashed away, and you know, and this is the actual problem. The money exists. There's trillions upon trillions of pounds and dollars, etc., which officially just don't exist, that have just been siphoned off and stored away and hidden, and they just don't exist as far as anyone's concerned. And that's where all this, like, they're literally just tapping it off to keep it in their pocket so that they can claim poverty. And that's despite the fact that the money that officially does exist would still be enough to do it. We potentially could live in a post-scarcity society if we were really serious about it. And it wouldn't make that big a difference to standard of living for your average person like you and I, right? You know? The only problem is it would mean that your fucking Bezos, etc., couldn't have their floating palaces.
But the problem with that is they would have to enjoy themselves in, like, some form of moderation.
No, the problem isn't even enjoying it in moderation. The problem is that they'd be the same as us. They'd be cut. They would have to look us in the eye.
Not under my plan, where they get, like, you know what I mean. They get like to fucking build a giant floating platform in the North Sea and, you know, live on that and do whatever the fuck it is they want to do.
Yeah, Piper Alpha 2.
Yeah.
Oh Christ.
Just build the island from like fucking A Brave New World, but instead of putting like fucking free thinkers on there or whatever fucking horse shit, like, do you know what I mean? Just put the rich on there, let them hunt each other for sport.
Lord of the
training AI to create the Matrix for rich people. There you go. Or just put them all in a big rocket and like spin launch them into fucking orbit.
I'd like to remind everyone we are still round about 50% of the way through this article.
Oh my god!
Read faster than.
Well, we're taking a
fucking trying.
We're taking a mental health break, David. All right, you know.
Yeah. Can you not just sum it up?
No.
Dad,
there seem to have been.
So what?
There seem to have been an erosion of respect for MPs. Spearheaded
again, like, whose fucking fault is that?
I'll tell you whose. It was spearheaded by organisations like Momentum, which had learnt how to harness the internet.
This wild, ferocious
love to harness
beast.
the internet, like.
The left had never been in government in the age of the internet.
Again, though, right? Again, we had the fucking internet before Tony Blair came to power. I mean, obviously the left weren't in power at any, but when was the internet actually invented? Like, not the web, but the internet itself. Wasn't that like the fucking 60s or something?
70s, I think.
I think it's 70s, yeah.
Yeah. But again, like, do you know what I mean? The fucking online abuse was not invented in the fucking 2010s, you absolute fucking tool.
Nasty people from both ends of the political spectrum who previously had no platform were given an audience of millions on social media. Telling no one
you've
was
never,
easier.
Tell me you've never subscribed to a news group without telling me.
Mm-hmm.
Within weeks of arriving at university, my new approach was vindicated. I downloaded a dating app for the first time.
Here we go.
Here we fucking go.
But found hundreds of profiles simply read no Tories.
We have dug through like a kilometre's worth of just tedious bullshit to get to this soft nougat core of Tories trying to fucking date normal humans.
Yeah.
Tories don't swipe right, or simply, fuck the Tories. Aged 18,
but not literally.
None of us had actually voted in an election yet. But I wondered what these people...
Does that matter?
But
Do you know
I
what
wondered...
I mean? Like, are under 18s, like, raised in a fucking bubble where politics does not affect them? This is exactly the fucking argument I had to have with a bunch of people from school on Facebook when Thatcher popped her fucking clogs. There was loads of people going like, well, you know what I mean? We weren't even old enough to vote before she retired. And it's like, yeah, and do you know what I mean? Was the country a fucking paradise for us when we were growing up? Or was it a fucking, like, big pile of shit like it's always been?
And like,
because of her fucking actions? Do you know what I mean?
And also, it's like, it's the same, you know what he's going with this? He's going like, well, I mean, you haven't even voted yet. You'll turn Tory eventually, so it's a bit rich for you to fucking be having a go at the Tories when you've not yet had to make the tough choices that turn you Tory. It's like, you know, it's that fucking mindset.
Yeah, well, neither is this cunt. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
He's never made any tough choices. He was just, like, fired out of his fucking mom directly into a fucking directorship at his dad's constituency office or whatever.
Yeah, no, he was...
So don't
do
you know what I mean? Don't start with me about the tough choices of fucking political insight and not having voted or whatever. Get a fucking job, you cunt.
Yeah, no, he was injected into the briefcase mould and here we've got him. It's like, you know...
None of us had actually voted in an election yet, but I wondered what these people's reactions would be if they discovered my dad was a Tory MP. Would I be cast from the dating pool? Forced to denounce my old man before entering the pub? I wondered what reaction...
Yeah. Forced to wear a shirt made entirely of hair.
I wondered what reaction no Labour on my profile would have drawn.
But you didn't do it,
Thighs,
did you?
I imagine.
But no, here's the thing. He didn't fucking do it, did he?
The mass sound of rolling eyes haunting the fucking, like, campus, perhaps?
And yet, he didn't fucking do it. He fucking said, oh, I'm, you know, just, I'm a moderate, or something like that, you know? Dollars to donuts, this guy fucking pretended that he wasn't what he is.
Uh-huh.
First term ended, and the mad dash to secure housing for second year began. Students posted ads on Facebook that often read, join our fun-loving group, 3 super sociable history students looking to live with people from other courses, preferably clean and up for nights out, no Tories. Over 3 years, as an undergraduate, I perfected lying about Dad's job.
Yeah, there we go.
But the stakes were significantly raised
How is that a skill that needs to be perfected, like?
Also, like...
Just say he's a fucking astronaut or something. Do you know what I mean? It's so easy.
But he's not even, but here's the thing, he's not lying about, like, the subtext here is not that he's lying about his dad's job, it's that he's avoiding talking about his own politics, which would inevitably come up if he mentioned his dad. He's lying about who he is for a quiet life.
He doesn't have any politics, he's never even voted.
But the stakes were significantly raised when I arrived at Cardiff University for my journalism masters.
Oh my fucking god. Not the raised stakes of a journalism masters.
Dad had been elevated to the cabinet as Secretary of State for Wales. It's like the second most embarrassing job you can have as a Tory. Like, it's the one that they care about the least after Northern Ireland.
Yeah, it's shut up, sit down there, watch the Welsh, don't bother us, like...
Yeah. And I was with a group of young journalists who, almost without exception, were hardcore, Tory-bashing left-wingers. A scandal-stricken Conservative party didn't help. One morning, my housemates and I were watching the news before going to lectures when Dad appeared on the media round, defending whatever latest line the Boris government was peddling. One of my lovely housemates, who refused to have our rat problem dealt with lethally as it was unfair on the rats, unleashed a barrage of insults at the TV screen as Dad spoke.
Like,
what a fucking wet bitch! You just
insults?
had to sit there in silence and just take it.
Yeah.
Also,
I watched
that bit about the rats.
Yeah.
I'm fucking betting you it's something as simple as they had mice, and you can trap them humanely without having to fucking put down poison or whatever. Like, rats tend to just actually get fucking poisoned for a variety of different reasons, but I bet you this cunt is like, oh no, it's something with a tail, it must be a rat. Like, feels like this guy's got no fucking understanding of dealing with this kind of shit.
Whether it's mice or rats, I'm sure it didn't fucking prompt him to ask any questions about landlords and the state of rental properties.
I watched heart rate quickening as he railed. How the fuck can he say this? What a cunt. Fucking Tory wanker with no idea what he's talking about. Another time, someone asked who the Secretary of State for Wales was in our course group chat. Another friend answered, that cunt Simon Hart. In the classroom or lunch area, Conservatives were the butt of endless jokes, the fodder for angry students fiercely competing with each other to prove their anti-Tory credentials.
Oh, it was all virtue signalling, you see. It's amazing this never prompted any real reflection from this guy. Like, you know, everywhere he goes, everyone he meets is
James, this guy is doing a journalism masters. What the fuck do you expect?
Yeah.
And the competition wasn't just harmless lip service. At a house party, a friend came over to our group and revealed she had a crush on a boy she'd just been speaking to. You can't get with him, cried another friend. He's a Tory. He works for the Tory party. The group muttered disapprovingly. The girl looked somewhat disappointed, but bowed to the pressure and ceased talking to him.
Yeah.
Imagine being surprised that this country has some of the lowest trust ratings for journalists in the world when pricks like this, the child of like a literal Tory minister, has lied the entire time to people who presumably would have had some degree of trust in them. Like, do you not hear yourself, motherfucker, how absolutely reprehensible you and your kind are every stage of your life? Fuck you.
For the rest of the night, one member of the group threw bottle caps at the boy, and the pressure not to be seen with him was tangible. His crime? Working for a legitimate, democratically elected mainstream political party. What is the charge?
Eating at a trough, succulent trough.
You're meant to be a fucking doing a journalism masters, and you have I suppose that would be part of the fucking job if you're entering the mainstream media landscape, because by God, they do have a massive propensity to just take everything dreadfully seriously and circle the wagons at the drop of a hat. So, fuck you, again.
Would I be treated the same way if they knew who my dad was?
You knew
yes,
well
and with good cause.
He fucking knew. He knew. Like, rhetorically asked, yes, that's why you kept your fucking mouth shut and pretended you weren't the slimy toad you are.
I didn't want to risk it. One day, Dad was in his Cardiff office opposite my university building and asked if I wanted to meet for lunch. I told him yes, but said we can't go to Pret as my classmates will be there. I snuck away from my friends at lunch, went round the back of his office and called him to say it was safe to exit the building. Round the back of his office, we ate our Tesco meal deals loitering like schoolboys smoking in an alley.
Mission unpolitical.
I feel like an escaped prisoner, Dad said. The pride I had felt as an 11-year-old felt like a lifetime ago. Of course, there are infinitely worse issues young people have to deal with than concealing their dad's job.
But
I had a wonderful, happy
them.
childhood. I had a wonderful, happy childhood, paid for largely by his salary. Seeking sympathy is not my aim. It is to reveal the toxicity of our politics, the poison in our public debate.
Your dad's the poison. Like, sorry to get all really extremist here, but it's the conduct of your dad and his mates, like, that are getting this reaction. Like, you know, you're looking, going, oh, wow, all this inflammation is terrible, and not looking at what's causing inflammation, mistreatment of the public trust. Like, what?
Yeah, it's Scorpion's bloviating at large about the toxicity that's been entered into the debate ever since the river debacle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was during my year at Cardiff that Sir David Amess was stabbed to death at his constituency surgery by a man who claimed to have plots to kill various MPs. He was the second MP to be killed at work in 5 years, and his assassination led to another round of security measures at home. Our doors and ground floor windows were replaced while CCTV cameras were installed, complete with a large, noisy computer to store the footage, and a monitor that displayed the camera feeds live. In the autumn of 2022, I finished my Masters, and Dad became Rishi Sunak's chief whip. After 14 years in government, and with a party hell-bent on tearing itself apart, his workload was phenomenal. He worked 15-hour days, increasingly left home on Sunday afternoons, and spent every spare moment on the phone to someone. Permanent dark rings formed around his eyes, and he picked at his nails constantly.
Good.
How awful.
And for what?
After a year as chief whip and 14 as an MP, it all came to an end.
But it's completely insane. Okay, your father became beleaguered and like had his soul destroyed by this job that he, presumably had no alternative but to do because you and he enjoyed the salary so very much. Like, why should anyone feel sympathy about their elected oppressor? Like, fuck you. What the fuck are you talking about? Just because he spent lots of time trying to make people miserable doesn't mean he should be commended for the effort he put in.
One moment, he was in the thick of the political action.
In the thick of it, if you will.
The next, Sunak called a general election, and Parliament was dissolved. The Conservatives had had a good run. It was time for someone else to have a go.
It was their turn on the controller.
And so,
Mum said,
after two... Oh, this guy's absolutely a fucking Starmer guy. Like, it's both a defiance of daddy thing, but also as a I hate all those nasty Corbynites thing. And so, after 2,520 hours, brackets 105 days, commuting the full length of the M4, my dad made his final trip home and began campaigning in his new constituency of, sorry Welsh people, Caerphilly, his old seat having fallen victim to boundary changes. Which you brought in.
Yeah. Hate to fall victim to my own fucking actions.
At midnight on the night of the election, Dad arrived at the count. The announcement was due about 4 a.m. Rather than wait under the glaring lights of the sports hall, he retreated to his car, where he spent the last 4 hours of his political career alone in a pitch-black, rain-swept car park in Clonelly, preparing to lose his job on live TV.
The dad's as much of a coward as the son. The son fucking hides away so as not to get any opprobrium. The dad fucking does the same because he can't bear to hang around a count when he knows he's done. But he doesn't have the conviction to just fucking go home. Like, he knows he's going to lose.
He sat in the dark. He sat in the dark and it was raining. Oh, my heart breaks for him. Do you know what I mean?
I've often been asked whether I'd like...
I wonder what his car was. I wonder what kind of car this cunt drove. Was he still a minister?
One of those little fucking red and yellow plastic ones that you give to toddlers.
I've often been asked whether I'd like to follow my dad into politics. I know my answer.
Which is an implicit yes, I'm guessing, based on everything he's put here.
No, he doesn't need to, because he's been gifted this fucking article in the Sunday Times. So that's fine.
Yes.
Like, there you go.
This learned
Obviously,
person
all
of
for
letters.
Yeah, it's the hard work that he did over his journalism masters, a real thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so yeah, that's the article.
In many ways, standing watching a fellow twat be pelted with bottle caps at a student party was this guy's Vietnam.
Oh, well, there's always time for a Vietnam too. I've been told that many times.
Fucking hell.
Jesus.
Yeah. Shall we round this off with some comment or commentariat, as if that wasn't enough fucking commentariat?
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. So, we have someone in number 10 whose family has deep ancestry in the IRA and Irish political parties. No wonder Lammy and Starmer have been visiting Ireland of late. Is that comment or commentary?
No wonder the Prime Minister has been going to Ireland.
Comment.
Commentariat.
James?
I said comment.
Oh, we didn't hear you. That was a comment in the Express. The article was, "Meet Morgan McSweeney, the true power inside Keir Starmer's number 10.
Oh. That's why the factionalism between him and Gray was so het up, you know.
Can Jamie or David, can you like Photoshop Morgan McSweeney's head onto the Sweeney's head in The Sweeney?
My heart bleeds for these poor people. Imagine being stuck in a metal box, brackets, car, with no way to safety. Surely it is time for these hurricane-susceptible states to look at providing underground shelter, as we did in the war." Is that comment or commentary?
Yeah,
that is... This
you're
might
at
be
sea level. You're at sea level. The storm surge is 15 feet, and you're like, you know what will save us? Digging down.
Yeah, dig down, stupid.
It's just...
Oh.
Right.
Oh, that's so good.
Commentariat.
Commentariat.
It's
Commentariat, yeah, I believe.
Comment, because I feel it's too stupid for the commentariat, and that's saying something.
That was a comment in the Daily Mail.
Nah.
I hope you all brought something to read while I fucking reel off this snappy headline. Thousands are trapped in Florida's hurricane hell as traffic lines clog roads, and gas is running out, while monster storm Milton closes in, and officials warn residents to flee or die.
That's the headline.
That's the headline.
Yeah, it's the Daily Mail, isn't it?
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah.
The reason globalists love climate crisis boiling change so much, climate crisis boiling change copyright symbol so much, is because the solutions have to be implemented across national boundaries and can therefore completely bypass pesky nation states' democratic wishes and policies. The same logic applies to why leftists love the EU as much as they do. It means they can implement their left/green WEF agenda without having to bother with such irksome things as local democracy. That's why they fought so hard to both resist and then overturn the Brexit vote. You're welcome.
Yeah, I agree. Let's leave
Is
NATO.
that comment or commentariat?
Commentariat Rob Little.
I'm going to say commentariat.
I'm going to say comment.
That was a comment in the Daily Mail. Takes theatrical deep breath. Last month was the second hottest September on record. Average global temperatures hit 16.7 degrees C. And scientists say climate change is to blame.
Much to think about.
Yeah. Al-Qaeda and ISIS now have a substantial sympathetic support base in the UK.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
The thousands of pro-Hamas marchers that have brought London to a standstill at times prove this base is there. The recent polls confirm this support. One poll found 39% of Hamas supporters do not believe the October 7th atrocities took place. It is only a matter of time. Comment or commentariat?
Commentariat, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a comment in the Express.
Oh damn!
Fuck.
I look forward to their actual articles.
UK on terror alert as MI5 chief sends horror warning: ISIS and Al Qaeda are back. Just in time for spooky season.
Spooky, scary Islamists. Yep. Okay.
The last one. Imagine owning the freehold to a property for 210 years. Then along comes a neighbour, a distant one, who has no history of practical involvement with said property, but demands possession.
Oh,
then,
I know what this
instead
is.
of directing the interloper to the nearest cliff, the freeholder submits meekly to the demand, surrendering his land and even promising to pay rent to the chancer to retain the use of a portion of what was legally his. This is, in effect, what the government has just done in agreeing to cede ownership of the Chagos Islands, properly known as the British Indian Ocean Territory, to Mauritius. Is that comment or commentariat?
That is commentariat. That's 100% commentariat.
Yeah.
Not only was that commentariat, but nobody was brave enough to put their fucking name to it. That was the Times view on the Chagos Islands fiasco.
Yeah.
Sign your work, you fucking cowards.
Mm.
Well,
Is that
that's
us?
your whack.
Excellent.
That's us.
Good.
Already halfway out the door.
That's it. My jacket is on. I'm placing the headphones down and telling you now that you can get bonus episodes if you would like more of this shit at patreon.com/praxiscast. You also get access to the Discord.
Yeah, please sign up for the Patreon just to keep the job centre off my back.
Yes, do that, please. They made a graph and everything. It was weird.
Yeah, they did.
Hate to say it, folks, but we now actually do have to believe in infinite growth.
Yeah. If I don't promote enough synergy by this time next year, I'm for the high jump.
Yeah, we got. What is it, like 10% growth a month for the next year, or whatever?
Oh, I'm not a numbers guy. Let's just say you're right.
Whatever it is, it's fucking dumb. So yeah. Anyway, bonus episodes and Discord access, everything like that is available. Patreon.com/praxiscast, £5 a month. We'll get you 2 bonus episodes a month now.
Yeah.
We also have extra content on the Discord as well. So
there is, yes. Sign up to that to hear all the bits that we deemed too bad for the bonus episodes.
That doesn't mean they're not funny.
Yeah,
No.
the bonus zonus is some of our most hilarious work.
Yeah. It's the true core of what this podcast is. Which
it is the pure id of podcasting.
Mess.
Also, without our Discord and the fine patrons who populate it, I wouldn't know that the Dutch Gundam is just a fucking windmill with a face drawn on it. The things you learn.
All this and more could be yours for the low price of £5 a month.
Yeah. Twitch streams
Come and argue with our accountant about which Star Wars is good Star Wars.
Yeah. Twitch streams also available, twitch.tv/praxiscast. They happen sometimes fortnightly, other times monthly, which is at this time, who fucking knows?
Look to the moon and you should find your answer.
Yeah.
And merch is also available at praxiscast.tmail.com if you would like a shirt. New shirts coming soon.
That's right.
Very interesting new shirts coming soon.
Yes, very, very good. If the first drafts of what I've seen are fucking empty to go by, they will be very good shirts. So yeah, that's up from us. We'll catch you all on the next one. And yeah, have a good one, folks. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.